Hi there, students. Today's video is about despite and in spite of. Now, the first thing to remember, there's no difference in meaning or in use of these two words. Now, we need to remember that they are both prepositions. Okay, so we need to use them as prepositions. So, let's look at some structures. Despite plus noun. Okay, notice you can interchange despite for in spite of. I'm just using despite as it's shorter. Okay, so for example, despite problems, he managed to do it. Despite the cost, I bought it. Despite the heat, he continued working. Despite the difficulty, he didn't stop. Okay, so despite the noun, and then the clause. Okay. Our second construction is despite plus a possessive pronoun plus a noun. Despite his problems, he continued working. Despite his abilities, he couldn't do it. Despite his money, they wouldn't let him buy it. Yeah? Despite his importance, they wouldn't let him in. Okay, so that's quite easy. Now let's look at another. Yeah, so when we're using verbs, we need to use the gerund. Okay, despite having a lot of money, they didn't let him in. Despite being important, they weren't impressed. Despite living in Spain, he didn't speak Spanish. Okay, so despite plus gerund. Now we need to look at two other constructions. Despite plus object pronoun plus gerund. Okay, so for example, despite me having a lot of money. We can also make this using the possessive, despite my having a lot of money. Okay, we can use both of these. I tend more normally to use the second with the possessive. Okay, despite me being there, they didn't talk to me. Despite my being there, they didn't talk to me. Yeah. Despite him living in Spain for 10 years, I think in this one, despite his living in Spain for 10 years, he didn't speak Spanish. Despite my working in the building, they wouldn't let me in. Despite me working in the building, they wouldn't let me in. Again, I prefer the second. Okay, so there you go. That's despite and in spite of. So let's just look at it again. They're prepositions. Despite plus noun, despite the problems. Despite plus possessive pronoun plus noun, despite my problems. Despite plus gerund, despite having problems. Despite plus object pronoun plus gerund, despite me having problems. And then plus possessive pronoun, despite my having problems. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and a rating. Please subscribe to my channel. If you've got anything to say, do feel free to comment, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching.